Hello everyone, greetings from G KRISH and welcome back to my YouTube channel G KRISH TV. One of my earlier interviews in this G KRISH TV channel, we spoke on the subject how flying is made safe in India and across. We had a guest by name Captain Sebastian Joseph as a member of the cockpit crew who spoke how flying is made safe right from day one, how a pilot is given intense training focusing on safety factor. He also spoke how the aircrafts are well equipped to take care of emergencies. It was also emphasized that engineering plays a major role in the safety of the aircraft. Today I have a guest by name Mr. Deepak Vijayan, former DGM Engineering, Air India Southern Region. Welcome Mr. Deepak Vijayan.
Hello.
As you know, the topic on the safety aspect and engineering does a major role behind the scene. I want to ask you a basic question. See, if somebody buys a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler from a leading manufacturer company through its sales outlet, for 1 year he is taken care of. He need not worry about the maintenance. There is a schedule given and it is taken care of. So similarly, when an airline buys aircraft from the manufacturer, where does the role of engineer starts?
The role of the engineer starts right from prior to taking delivery of the aircraft. A team of officials go and check the documentation, and the pre-delivery checks are carried out on the aircraft. Only if it is fully they find it everything is okay, then we take the delivery of the aircraft. Otherwise the manufacturer, whatever faults we find, they rectify that and then only give it to us. Then we fly down the aircraft to our base where it is registered in our name, owner's name and the country. The registration is done in the country of operation. And once the aircraft comes, then the scheduled tasks as recommended by the manufacturer and the schedules approved by the DGCA, we are carrying it out. Various checks are carried out at prescribed intervals, which can be in flying hours, elapsed time, or in cycles, as whichever is lower. Because in case an aircraft doesn't fly, still the checks will be carried out periodically. This is to ensure safety of the aircraft.
Are you called to the manufacturer's location, given a training? So not all the engineers, but few of the engineers,
yes,
are given a training, in-house training in the manufacturer's location?
Yes, either in the manufacturer's location or in the manufacturer recommended place, approved place, we are given training facility, and later on our instructors are trained there and they impart training to the rest of the engineers in India.
In aviation parlance, Mr. Deepak Vijayan, we hear the term leased aircraft. How the safety of the leased aircraft is done? Is it by the lessor or by the lessee?
Lessee maintains the aircraft. Every aircraft has a complete history of the aircraft is known. Any work done on the aircraft has to be documented, and whoever has the aircraft has to maintain the documentation of any work carried out. So anybody can find out the status of the aircraft anytime. Whenever we do the aircraft on a lease aircraft, lessor also is monitoring the performance of the aircraft and our quality of inspections. He is also involved because he is the owner of the aircraft. We are the operators.
Is it confined to, suppose in India, if you are going to have a leased aircraft, that is being monitored ultimately by DGCA?
Yes.
Equally monitored by the country of origin from where you got that leased aircraft?
Yes.
So both the countries, the regulatory authorities are involved in that. Okay, in the case of an aircraft, we see invariably schedule starts 5 AM or 6 AM. How long the engineering department allows that aircraft to fly when it starts its first flight?
Nowadays the aircraft flies round the clock. Almost the utilization, the more the utilization is more liable, profitable to operate the aircraft. You know, it is pretty expensive. An aircraft is pretty expensive, and the more it flies, you make money. So it can fly also. It is designed to fly. Only periodic checks have to be carried out. Before every flight, an inspection has to be carried out. That is known as the transit inspection. The first flight of the day, normally they carry out the pre-flight inspection, And then we have various checks which have to be carried out at the scheduled intervals as specified by the manufacturer and approved by DGCA.
So you have a maintenance schedule
Yes, we have a
from
maintenance
engineering
schedule.
point of view.
Before every departure, that test check is known as the transit check.
Okay.
And first flight of the day, we do the pre-flight check where some additional checks are there like tire pressure check and all that. And then we have a daily inspection or known as a layover check, which can be done over a period of 72 hours elapsed time. And then we have the weekly inspection over a elapsed time of it is 8 days. And then we have the A check, which is done at the interval of 4 months with cycles and flying hours specified, whichever is less. So like this, the checks are done at regular intervals. Whether the aircraft flies or not, checks will be done.
You made a mention cycle. What does it mean, sir?
Cycle, every takeoff and landing is counted as a cycle.
On cycle.
Because certain components of the aircraft are under stress during takeoff and landing. And the rest of the thing is counted in flying hours. That is the time the aircraft is in the air. So that is flying hours. Elapsed time is of course the time calendar period.
Okay. You made a reference to the transit check. Do I infer, suppose an aircraft takes off from Delhi, lands in Chennai, after maybe 45 minutes or 1 hour duration, it goes for another designated destination, maybe Trivandrum or Bangalore. In the period of 45 minutes or 1 hour, do you have a check, engineering check on that?
Yeah, before every departure there is a check. Transit check, it's known as the transit check. It is carried out by the engineer who does the walk around inspection, does the refilling of the aircraft, checks the report generated by the aircraft regarding any snags developed or monitored by the aircraft's computers, and then he offers checks whether any checks are falling due during this period of flying for the next anticipated sector duration, and then he offers the aircraft to the captain, who also will do a walk around,
Okay.
inspect the documentation, discuss with the engineer, and then accepts the aircraft. So this is the whole procedure before every departure.
Sir, we hear some agencies name like DGCA, ICAO, then SAFA, if I'm correct, SAFA, SAFA. Are these agencies, focus on safety aspect also?
Yes, DGCA is the regulatory authority of India which monitors the entire civil aviation operation in India. They are the regulatory authority, and all the licenses are issued. Everything is monitored by them. And similarly, ICAO fosters the planning and of the international travel, contributes to the safety and growth of the aviation industry. Whereas SAFA basically is a safety assessment of foreign aircrafts carried out by EU member countries.
Okay.
So whichever third country aircraft goes to EU member countries area, they monitor whether these aircraft's safety standards are being maintained. They carry out an additional inspection on the aircraft's landing in their stations. This also contributes to safety. And the FAA is the regulatory authority for US.
Okay. Now, in that context, I wanted to ask you a question. In any major organization, there will be an internal audit.
Yes.
Of course, if it is a government organization, there will be a government audit.
Yes.
Then there will be statutory audit.
Yes.
3 layers of audit are there.
Yes.
Similarly, how does it operate in engineering?
So we have internal audit by the MRO itself. We have to conduct an internal audit on its own function.
I see.
And find out if there are any shortcomings, and this has to be reported to DGCA if any shortcoming is found out, and then what is the rectification action you have taken has to be reported to DGCA. Similarly, DGCA will also carry out an inspection on your facility,
I see.
on your aircrafts, and find out whether you are maintaining the standards. Similarly, any foreign regulatory authority, if you are maintaining their aircrafts, they will also visit your facility and then do your audit on your. So we have the external audit also coming in.
Okay. Sir, actually, Indian-based carriers operate to foreign destination. Who certifies the other end? And similarly, their airlines also operate into India. who is authorized to do that, rather the clearance certificate to take off?
When Indian aircrafts go abroad, it is certified by the engineers of the local airlines or the MROs there, which is approved by us,
Okay.
the airline concerned. And in case their aircraft comes, they also come, visit our facility, see our standards, and give clearance to us to certify their aircrafts.
Okay.
So, some of the countries, airlines, they share the spares also,
Okay.
so that they can reduce the cost of inventory.
Okay. Tell me one thing, sir. Spares are very costly.
Very expensive.
Very expensive. So you maintain the store's inventory, and as and when required, it is being replaced.
Yes.
Major organization, do they store in a particular location?
Certain spares which are kept in base stations, and certain stores are very expensive items are kept in the main stations.
Okay.
So where there's, so since they are very expensive, 1.5 crores for a small computer, it's pretty expensive. And the placement of spares depends on the reliability of the product also. If you find that the product is very reliable, then it's, you need not keep unnecessarily.
Okay.
We are continuously monitoring the reliability of each component, and the quality assurance department does that. And they also recommend, in case of failures, then spares are kept at all stations wherever it is required. Like wheels and all that can have any problem anytime. So wheels are all normally kept at all stations of operations.
Okay. To minimize the delay, if at all, if there is any problem. Okay. Deepak Vijayan, I think you got more than 33 years of service in the national carrier Air India. What are the challenges you faced? Any day you thought it is a very, very challenging? You must have had a challenge every day, but which doesn't go out of your memory.
A lot of memories like that. But one of the things which I cannot forget is one of the other airline operator, so aircraft got stuck on the runway at Calicut Airport, which is quite a short runway, and that airport got closed. Runway was closed. We had one aircraft on the ground waiting to take off to an international destination, and two in the air waiting to land, and then they had to proceed to international stations. So you can imagine almost 500 passengers stranded. So with very minimal infrastructure which we had at Calicut Airport on those days, now of course Calicut Airport is well equipped, we were able to retrieve the aircraft, clear the runway, though it belonged to another airline, and operate our flights on schedule almost with minimum disruption. So that was a very challenging, and it was a teamwork of course, but it was a wonderful feeling we had after doing that.
Okay, and also I think in your long career of 33 years and having license in so many versions of aircraft, you would have seen of so many departures, certifying so many takeoff.
Yes.
Can you just indicate approximate figure how many you would have certified for a takeoff?
Yeah, I must have done more than 25,000 departures.
I think that should give a lot of satisfaction.
Yes,
because
definitely.
so many passengers had travelled after your certification.
Yes.
So, which indicate the safety.
We work under very big pressure of sunset limitations, weather, snags, all this.
Okay.
And destination, weather, all those conditions, so many conditions in which we have to see to that the aircraft operates.
Okay.
So the pressure, and we have only 40 to 45 minutes time to take all these decisions, refuel the aircraft, make the aircraft serviceable, offer it, take decision immediately. You cannot linger around and delay the flight. So many people are waiting to go to their schedule. So this is a very challenging task, and it is very satisfying when you are able to do it nicely.
And what about the sweet memory which you relish in your career of 33 years?
Yeah, looking back, I find my career, I was very happy in this, doing all this. For me, aviation was a passion. I loved that life.
Thank you, Mr. Deepak Vijayan, to give that interesting aspect on aviation from engineering point of view. Hope my viewers had minute details regarding how safety is maintained by the engineering department. And please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel G KRISH TV. Thank you and hope to see you in my next interview program. Thank you.